I've got a question for you. If you were asked to tell the Christmas story, where would you begin? How would you start? Would you start with the angels in the night sky? Would you start with shepherds at the manger or maybe the wise men? Well, when the gospel writer Matthew sat down to tell the Christmas story, he had a different idea of where to begin. He chose to start the story with this long list of hard to pronounce names. It's called a genealogy or the family tree of Jesus. That is not exactly where most of us would choose to start the Christmas story. And in fact, many people, when they come to that beginning part of Matthew's gospel, they just skip right over it. And yet, in Matthew's world, your ancestry, it wasn't just background information. It was actually your identity. It told people who you were and where you were from and what kind of future you might have. So, what kind of future did Jesus have? Where was he from? Well, here is the surprising part. This is not a spotless, polished family tree. Right? Matthew, he doesn't airbrush this story. Instead, he seemingly highlights all the scandals and all the outsiders and all the broken relationships and questionable decisions, all the skeletons in the family closet, the things that most of us would avoid mentioning, he seems to emphasize. And in the end, what we see for Jesus is this family tree full of broken branches. And that's his whole point. Matthew wants us to see right from the very beginning that Jesus didn't come from a perfect family. He came for imperfect families. He stepped into the mess and the pain and the disappointment of real human families and lives. He came into a world, he came into a family that looks an awful lot like ours. So what about your family tree? I mean, for many of us, Christmas is a time of connecting with family and can bring a lot of joy, but for others, Christmas stirs up complicated memories, or maybe we miss loved ones and we have strained relationships. And so when we put up our own kind of Christmas trees, we're reminded of how families, even our own families, are broken and carry this mix of sadness and happiness. If that's where you find yourself this year, I've got good news for you. You are not outside the story that God is telling, and you're exactly the kind of person that Jesus came for. The first Christmas didn't begin with a picture-perfect family, and Jesus still meets us in the middle of our ordinary, messy, painful lives. So this Advent at Trinity, we're starting this brand new series. It's called Broken Branches. And it's going to be a journey through the family tree of Jesus and the surprising ways that God brings beauty out of brokenness. Through every generation, through every name, every story, God's grace keeps breaking through. And this Christmas, we're not just going to read about Jesus' family tree, we're actually going to learn that through Christ, we are part of that family. We're grafted into it. We become part of His story, His people, His family. So join us this Advent, because it's my hope and prayer that whatever's going on in your life and the life of your family, you will know that there's room for you, both here in our church family, but more importantly, in the family that God is creating too. So we'll see you Sunday.